What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and this is probably the biggest release coming out on Friday the 13th of June, and that is the latest offering from Fallujah, XENOTAPH, or XENOTAPH. This also, like I said, came out on Friday the 13th of June, this time on Nuclear Blast Records, and, well, actually, I have listened to this band before. Actually, it's been a long time since I've even thought about Fallujah. The last album and the only album I checked out was, I think it was Deathless in 2016, and I thought it was pretty good, but I just, for some reason, never caught up with them. So when I saw they had a new album coming out, I'm like, you know what, maybe I should give this band another shot. And, of course, for those who don't know, this is an American... Well, they started out as a deathcore band, and now they've evolved into like a progressive, technical death metal hybrid band. And I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about this band. There's people who love this band and people who just don't care for this band. Of course, like I said, I pretty much lost track of these guys for almost a decade. But here I am talking about a new album of theirs, and well, this was better than I was expecting it to be. Kicking things off with In Stars We Drown, and it really kind of sets the pace and the mood. I would say it's more of a mood setter for the entire album. Like, you get these like cool ambient moments, and pianos, and bass lines. Then all of a sudden you get these beautiful guitar harmonies that come in that reminds me a little bit of Death, I'm going to be honest. Like late era Death, like the last... five, like the whole 90s catalog, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but just with a different tuning and more polished production. And I gotta say, the clean vocals, Kyle Schaefer's vocals on this album were unbelievable. Like, his growls are pretty nasty, his screams are really feral, but his clean vocals, really strong clean vocals. In fact, they kind of remind me a little bit of Riley McShane's clean vocals on one of the more recent Allegiant albums, minus the new one. I thought, yeah, this guy kind of reminds me a bit of Riley McShane a little bit when it comes to clean vocals. But after we get through that opener, then the rest of the album, it just goes into all sorts of different atmospheres, directions, techniques, you could say, like kaleidoscopic waves. This one, I think, was a great pace setter for the rest of the album. Triplet rhythms, but wild guitars and blast beats that are all still in time. And then one moment that really stood out on this track was the soothing, clean vocals going along with the bass melody. And then you even get these like really cool, like angular melodic chugs that really shine on here. And then, of course, like tremolo riffs in the chorus. I gotta say, there are some pretty big choruses on this album, like in Kaleidoscopic Waves, Labyrinth of Stone. I thought I had another one, but yeah, those are just a couple. Oh, and Step Through the Portal and Breathe. Some pretty notable choruses, which tech death, I don't usually think of big choruses, but this band can pull off some cool choruses. And Labyrinth of Stone, I love how it starts with this soaring melody coming in, and then it unleashes into like a triplet stomp with some chugs, but soaring melodies. Like, again, these melodies just know how to take you on a journey in so many different directions. And then the song goes into like straight up technical death metal. Like, I would almost say like a more modernized version of Necrophagist, I would argue. But of course you still get groove. Like, groove is all over this album. It isn't just about like how fast you can play. Like, there's a lot of groove, and it's very much in like a progressive metal sense. And there's even some really cool piano spots that show up here and there on the album to kind of add a little bit of a somber atmosphere to whatever part they're trying to accentuate with the piano. But the Crystalline Veil, this one starts off with beautiful clean melodies. Then you get into these like Allegiant-esque chugs and melodies before it just goes into blast beats and just angular riffs, but little atonal parts to kind of add another seasoning to this big slab of meat that is Fallujah's XENOTAPH. But then it does get into some nasty chugs. Like, there are some pretty heavy chugging riffs that show up here and there, but then the song goes a bit sullen, almost into like a bit of a jazz fusion moment, kind of like Cynic to a degree. But I gotta say, the drums, flawless drum work on this album, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the leads. Like, lead melodies, harmonies, and great like trade-offs, and dare I say, the solos themselves kind of remind me of stuff like John Petrucci, Steve Vai, maybe even to a lesser extent guys like Tosin Abasi would probably pull off. They're just unbelievable guitar work all over this album, not only in riffs but also in leads. But Step Through the Portal and Breathe, this one kind of starts off with more like ambience that leads into a pretty lead melody and a groove. And I don't know how these guys just play so damn fast on the guitars and be able to make sense of what's happening here. And one of the best moments of this track is a bass melody while the drums are just settling into like flaring up and just creating beautiful textures. And I also even like where the song slows down, but you get these huge guitar progressions while the clean vocals take hold, and even some off-time rhythms show up as well. A Parasitic Dream, I love how it starts off with a fade-in melody, and then you get into these big tremolo riffs and melodic progressions that build the song up. Even in the background, you get an isolated moment where clean melodies hold sway, but nasty, echoey vocals. It sounds like he's down in a cavern or something. And then we get into the Obsidian Architect, twangy melodies to start off. Like, I love how each song starts differently, which is really creative. And then you get like clean melodies behind like nasty chugs again. There's even more off time. I think it's 7/4 time signature, if I'm not mistaken. But I love how you get these like atmospheric moments with blast beats that go into a groove on this track. More of those like angular atonal sections, triplet chugs at the end. And then the closer, the title track, the longest track of the album at nearly 8 minutes, like the opening riff kind of reminds me of the opening riff of By the Pain I See in Others by Opeth. Like this nice little like alternate picking part before it just goes into tremolos and triplet chugs. But I love the lead phrasing on this song quite a good bit. And of course, soaring melodies galore. Like, again, these melodies are just unbelievable for the most part. So yeah, pretty much top to bottom, I don't think there's a bad song on here. I think all these songs are really good. Maybe the only complaints that I have is that there will be times where they do get a bit on the borderline of wankery on the guitars, and maybe some of the transitions could have been a little bit smoother. But other than that, like, they're able, like, actually in the title track, they're able to make things really catchy with awesome hooks. So overall, I thought this was a pretty damn solid album. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's almost a 4. It's nearing on a 4 out of 5. It's closer to a 4 than it is a 3 for this 3.5. But this is still really solid stuff. If you like Fallujah, you're going to really dig this. But if you're new to this band and you like bands like Allegiant, maybe Necrophagist, Cynic, Obscura, Job for a Cowboy's more modern output, I'd say this is definitely a worthy listen. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.